I'm Amanda Malley. I am the Digital Literacy and Computer Science Content Lead for Massachusetts in the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. A little bit about Massachusetts. We're a local control state. We have 406 fiercely independent districts. So control over curriculum, graduation requirements, what is being taught day to day, professional development, all lies with the district. But we do have a couple of departments, my department, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and Department of Higher Ed, that set policy and regulations. Additionally, we recommend best practices based on research, and we give implementation tools to all our districts and provide PD whenever we can, whenever there's funding. But one of the things that both my department, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, DESE, and DHE, Department of Higher Ed, come together to work on, one of our biggest responsibilities is to define college and career readiness. So, there we go. On my side, on the DESE side, we offer up a recommended course of studies that we call Mass Core. So Massachusetts, sorry, a little under the weather here. So our Mass Core is our recommended high school course of studies with the goal of helping high school students graduate and arrive in college as a freshman to take credit-bearing courses, right? Not remedial courses, but freshman-level credit-bearing courses. And if you aren't going to college, to enter another educational field or to start work with some basic skills and knowledge. On the DHE side, they reflect our recommended course of studies in their admission standards. So our colleges and universities take up this recommendation that we have and use it as their requirements. And that also kind of influences our district to follow our recommendation. And of course, they're also very focused on career readiness, making sure that when you graduate with a certain degree in biology, that you can actually find a job in biology or whatever your degree is in. So we're both very focused on career readiness. So we both pay attention to the changes and the demands in our job market in Massachusetts. And Massachusetts has a very big biotech sector. So we're very knowledgeable in what's going on in biotech. But we also have MIT, Harvard, Google, Microsoft, Dell. So this all adds up to a demand for high-tech STEM skills. And this is a 2017 study by Burning Glass Technologies and Achieve, and they looked at our market, our job market. And what they found is in Massachusetts, we have a higher percentage of jobs asking for computing skills when compared to the national markets. We have a higher percentage of technology jobs in Massachusetts that are requiring a higher level of degree when you compare to other states. And, all right, if I can get there. IT-adjacent jobs requiring computer science skills are growing across the nation, but growing 5% faster in Massachusetts. So this is a sector that we have to pay very close attention to. So these high-tech STEM skills are important for economic reasons, for future employment, for keeping and attracting high-tech scientific companies to the state. We want to give all our citizens the skills needed to be gainfully, competitively employed in the 21st century. So college and career readiness is very important and something we have to look at. And this college and career readiness skills that we were looking at included computational thinking, digital literacy, media literacy, computer science education. So it had all these skills and practices that we had to have somehow define for Massachusetts, right? If it isn't defined in some sort of standard, it doesn't become a discipline. So this was our implementation frame. So Massachusetts has been a member of the ESEP Alliance, which is 23 states and Puerto Rico. ESEP is Expanding Computing Educational Pathways. We were one of the initial members, and we were members before it became before it became ESEP, when it was CATE. So one of the focuses we've had since the beginning is we're not just looking to increase the numbers of students with these skills, we're looking at the students themselves. So we're always looking at this with an eye towards equity. So our frames are, we had to have a capacity for this type of learning. Is it computer science? And in fact, in Massachusetts, we've put this together as digital literacy and computer science, where we rolled up computational thinking as part of it, and media literacy, and computing systems, and networking, all in this education. So we had to define this in policy regulation. We had to offer it to teachers. We had to do some sort of systems around, some work around students. Then we had to find access. Who has access, who doesn't have access? And those kids who do have access, who's participating, who's in the classroom, and then go into the classroom to find out if the experiences of all the students are the same or similar in the same classroom. So this is just some examples of some issues that we're always keeping in the forefront to make sure that rural students and suburban students and urban students are getting similar experience, make sure that courses are being offered everywhere. And we have a long way to go. So the first thing we had to do was set policy, which was my job, right? I'm at the state. So we had to define what all these skills and practices meant. So we brought together researchers, public and private institutions, educators, yes, K-12 educators and higher ed educators, to kind of define what this knowledge was that we wanted our kids to know. So we set policies. We came up with a digital literacy computer science framework. We adopted them in 2016, which generated licensure. So we have new licensure, new requirements for licensure, which then set up our pre-service programs. So we had requirements for pre-service programs. We've approved pre-service programs. But by the time I get all those teachers out, I have to, we're talking 4 years down the road, right? So I have this entire field of educators out there that may not know anything about our standards. So we have to focus on in-service teachers, and we also have to be able to get them curriculum, right? Vertically aligned, rigorous, standards-based curricula. All right. So our digital literacy computer science standards, this is our vision. The ability to effectively use and create technology to solve complex problems are the new essential literacy skills for the 21st century. So the same thing Dr. Stefania said earlier, it is an essential skill for the 21st century, right? So believing that it is an essential skill, we had to remove chance from the equation. The chance that your child was going to have that champion teacher that integrated technology into their classroom. The chance I'll talk faster. The chance that your elementary or middle school teacher, you had a computer specialist teacher that your student would cycle through. And if hopefully they didn't have any pull-out sessions during that time and they actually had time with a computer science teacher. The chance that your high schooler will select a digital literacy or computer science course as an elective once they're in high school. Additionally, kind of what we were thinking also on the research side, we thought if we offered an integrated computational thinking with our disciplines, we would offer another access point for students who couldn't access the disciplinary material now. So not only do we hope that engaging in the content with technology will give you a deeper understanding, we also are thinking that this is going to reach more students who probably we weren't reaching before, because it just gives them another entry point. Almost there. All right, so STEM+C projects. So trying to remove chance from the equation, we started a project. So the state, in collaboration with the Educational Department, EDC, Educational Department Center, Joyce Madeline Smith was our PI, and I was co-PI. This was our first project, broadening participation in elementary school. So we started with our computational thinking standards in our DLCS, Digital Literacy Computer Science frameworks, and we integrated them into 2 to 4 integrated modules in math or science in grades 1 through 6, right? We had 64 teachers, 16 districts, 1,000 students affected. We've done this past year regional PDs and reached another 40 teachers and all their students. We've now also put together an ambassador cadre of 10 people who basically we've trained as train the trainer, who are now available across Massachusetts to offer this integrated curriculum 1 through 6. This kicked off a couple of other projects. Lynn Goldsmith is doing integrated computational thinking into Insight Elementary Science. Paul Goldberg is doing integrating programming into K-5, and he just got another grant to continue his work. And most excited, we got another grant, Joyce and I, and Irene Lee, somewhere is a co-PI also, on integrating computational science. So now on the other end of the spectrum, I'm going from elementary into high school, again trying to remove the chance that students will get out from K-12 without this minimum knowledge that we think is essential for productive citizenship in our new society. We looked at how we could integrate digital literacy and computer science content within the standard coursework of our students in high school. And we focused on math. So all our science. All our high school students do the biology, chemistry, physics pathway through high school. A majority do it in that order. We do have some physics first, but that'll be our next grant. So we're looking to incorporate all these standards in the same footprint without adding another course, without leaving it to chance that it's going to be an elective. So we're incorporating all the media literacy, the computing and society, computational thinking into this 3-year path that all students will take. And I envision that in the future, this will be the only option that we have in Massachusetts. So we're starting something now that we hope will change everything in Massachusetts. And I think we're going to skip questions till the end. That's my contact information if you need any information. And thank you.
Good morning.